Hi, I'm John Greaves III. I'm the co-founder of Garage Gym Life, and today is a very special occasion for me because you guys are about to meet my firstborn son for the first time. So, let me give you some backstory. So, in March, my wife Naomi and I went to the HFA show in Las Vegas, and while there, we met Major Fitness, and we got to see two of their prototype racks. And at the end of the show, they wanted to send one of the racks home with me, and I said I would, because they wanted feedback. And I said I would actually prefer it if they sent it to my son because, well, number one, he is trying to set up his home gym. He's trying to get it going for the first time. And number two, they would get more of the average user's experience, especially from a first time home gym owner perspective. And once they found out that he is an active duty member of the United States Marine Corps, Major Fitness was excited to do it because they do, obviously, hence the name, they have a lot of respect for the members of the United States military. And so this worked out. So, my son has got the rack put together, and so we're gonna bring him on right now to find out his thoughts about the rack. So let's go ahead and bring him on here right now. James, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me.
Hey, I'm telling you, look, this is a historic occasion. I see you got heir to the throne right there, and we're laughing, but it's true. Okay, yeah, this is the heir to the empire. So it's first of all, it was funny to me that you got the rack, and I was like, you know what? This is actually your first time putting together a power rack, because even though you grew up in the home gym with me, you never had put one together before. It was always, we had, first of all, we had the yellow one for years,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
when, yeah, and then when we put it together, you weren't with us. So, um, but basically, you came to the house, and I don't know if you were at school or whatever, but you came over, and the rack was already put together. So basically, all the work was done. Well, all that has come back around now because you had to put that together by yourself. So let's talk about that experience. First of all, it arrived in a crate. So let's talk about like the handling of the package. Was what condition were the parts? Was the rack when it showed up at your house?
It was like a wave of emotions. I was really excited because I'm like, okay, I finally had the home gym. But at the same time, as like the process starts going for putting it together, I'm like, okay, I know what it's supposed to look like, but I'm not sure how to get there. I really did appreciate the fact that they had the rack partially set up. So I think it was the left side, the parts were disassembled, but the right side, part of it was partially put together. So I had a reference point as I was putting it together.
Oh,
Um,
nice. Okay. Okay.
yeah, it was pretty simple. I was doing it by myself, and then my mom came over, and two of my brothers came, and they helped me.
Right.
Trey and
Right.
Matthew.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both in
Shout
high
out to
school.
Trey and Matthew.
Yeah, shout out to Trey and Matthew. They're both in
Yeah.
high school. Well, Trey's in high school and Matthew's in middle school. But it was simple enough that both of them were able to help me.
Right.
I
Right.
just
Right.
needed a wrench and a socket and a couple different measurements for the socket wrench. But that was pretty much it. The most difficult part that took me probably about a week and some change was the cable assembly, the pulley system over here.
Yeah.
But
I,
besides
I
that,
was afraid of that because, so once again, this is a prototype, so there's no instruction manual to assemble it. Not only was it your first power rack assembly, but it's also got a functional trainer attachment, and it's a prototype. So even though I sent you some videos of similar stuff from Major Fitness, there's no other rack that's exactly like it. So you kind of had to like figure some stuff out. And then also shout out, I want to give a shout out to um, Dennis Solis from Home Fitness Work, because we actually FaceTimed him and he was able to kind of work with us a little bit to try to get this going. But the other thing is, like I said, you're active duty in combat arms, so you were going to the field. You had
yeah.
courses that you had to attend and all that. So it's not like you just had unlimited time to do this.
I remember I went on like a machine gun range, and then we did a hike to a grenade range, and
Yeah,
then that was about a week. I was out in the field, and then I came back, and I had part of the rack put together, but I was trying to remember where I left off, so I was looking at videos
yeah.
of your interviews, and I was just looking at pictures on like the internet with similar like a similar looking power rack. I think this is like the first power rack I've had that had a pulley system. The one we grew up with
Yeah, that was old
didn't
school.
have the yeah, it didn't have a pulley, right?
Yeah, because when it was created, pulleys weren't a thing.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
functional trainers on racks didn't exist. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was old school.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know what it's supposed to look like, but as far as getting there, that was the
yeah.
hard part. But
All
yeah,
right. Well,
honestly, just staying up in the middle of the night, tinkering, and I finally figured it out. Watching one of the interview videos, and I was able to put it together. My wife actually helped me finish it.
shout out
So
to Nicole. Okay.
yeah,
Well, look, go ahead, turn your camera around because I want to get a close up of this thing. Let's just kind of walk us through all the different parts of it. Yeah, that way we can kind of see what you got working. All right. There we go. Yeah.
I actually start with the pulley system because that was what took me the longest.
Okay.
Um, this was actually fairly simple to put together. Let me go on this side. This was actually fairly simple to put together. It just required me to use my brain a little bit. So going the first cable is from the stack, which is what helped me out a lot because this made it to the stack, the top of
Okay.
it,
All right.
and I pretty much just had to follow the cable up and then use I guess these are like trolleys or whatever they're
Those
called.
those are pulleys, but yeah.
Yeah, the
Are
pulley.
you talking about the channels? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the channels up here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the other thing I'll say is that these are all aluminum pulleys. They mentioned that in the interview I did with them that these come standard with aluminum pulleys. So you got higher quality pulleys off the bat because they're gonna last longer and there's not gonna be as much drag on the cable. So I really like that.
Yeah, I could tell even when I was um putting the cable through it, and then the different times I was trying different positions with it, that this was really smooth, and I knew this was part of what made me excited. I knew like I was gonna have a good time using it. Sometimes there's a lot of gyms on base that I go to before I had this, and sometimes like over the course of years, like wear and tear, or maybe just like the brand they're using, that these pulleys are rusted or they're kind of difficult to use, and you know it's just something else to think about while you're working out. So I really
Nice,
appreciated the design on this.
nice,
Um,
nice. Okay.
so the top part right here was like the easy part. After I put it to the pulley and I came up, I ended up. Let me see if I can get inside there. If you can see right here, I end up connecting to the front
Okay.
part
Okay.
of the
Okay.
of the um the clip right here for the
Okay.
pulley. The part that gave me the most trouble was the bottom part, trying to figure
Oh,
out
nice.
um, how to connect this through these three pulleys, and then um, connect it to this portion right here.
All right.
But besides that, everything else is pretty easy. The stack was really easy. The plate, it took me a second to figure it out. They're not in the way they're supposed to be after referencing the video again, but the weight's all the same. So
Right. So I
um,
remember you said you're just gonna get some other stickers, and we talked
yeah,
about plate snacks, so you can actually
yeah.
customize that stack. I mean, like, because you like comic books and Ninja Turtles and all kinds of other stuff like that. So I'm like, hey, you can get you can contact you can reach out to Plate Snacks and get them to create some custom stickers and decals and stuff. So that's something else for anybody who's watching this who might want to figure out, how to get their stuff set up. Is that you don't actually have to just stay with, what even if you get another weight stack, you don't actually have to stay with what comes with the stack. You can go to and this is not sponsored by Plate Snacks in any way, but I'm just letting you guys know. You can go to Plate Snacks and customize your weight stack, however you like. And I'll actually put the link to that in the description for this video to help you guys out. How much weight is on the stack?
So
Okay.
it goes up to 100. No, that's where the sticker is at. But after you
Yeah.
put the last sticker to 100, you would basically just add 10. So it should be six more weights a
Correct.
part of the stack. It should be 160. But like I
Right.
said, or like you were saying, I'm gonna relabel this so it looks good and I know what I'm using. And
Right.
the main parts mainly for my wife, since she's really getting into weight training, and
Right.
I'm teaching her, so she's not putting like a incorrect amount of weight that she can't lift on it.
But the other thing that's unique about this on the stack is it's actually designed to let you put plates on top. So you can do the full stack, or you don't have to do, sometimes you see like increments or whatever, right? So let's say you have like 20 pounds on there and you want to do 25 pounds. You can literally just put a 5 pound plate on either side and do increments. Or you can do 22 pounds. You put 22 and a half pounds. You put a 2.5 pound plate on there. So you can either exceed the stack or you can do increments to give you more options. So that was something that really jumped out to me. You don't have to add like a weight stack extender. You don't have to go buy one of those. So I like the thought that they put into that. All right. So what else you want to show us?
I actually want to show the plate holder back here.
Oh yeah, I
I
like
had
the.
a tree, but my daughter was actually, I don't know how she was strong enough to do it, but push it around.
First of
And
all, genetics. Come on, man. She's from my bloodline.
yeah.
Look, hold up a second, man. Let me restore order. All right, let me tell you something, okay? She's got my genetics. All right, don't ever say you don't know how she was strong enough again. Come on now, All
Stronger
right,
than your average 2-year-old.
you
I'll say
dang right.
that.
Okay, you were dang right. Continue.
So, my wife felt more comfortable putting the plates up here,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
she's also vertically challenged. I like to joke. She's not
Oh
very
yeah.
tall. She's like 5'1".
Yeah.
So, um, let me come around to this side.
Okay.
So you can see my garage is elevated. This portion allows her to
Oh
get a
yeah, to
little
the
bit better
stack.
access to the weights right here, or
Oh
even if
nice.
she's going to utilize the stack, and
Gotcha.
then the pulleys up here. It's a lot easier for her to grab it from this side rather
Gotcha.
than this side.
Yeah,
So unless
I
she's
got you.
trying to do something with both of them,
Yeah.
it's really convenient that basically she's got her side of the rack and I have mine. So
Oh
I
nice.
really,
I didn't think about
yeah,
that.
yeah, I really enjoy that. And
Okay.
she also really enjoyed the low row as well.
Oh yeah,
Um,
nice.
and then this portion right here for the barbell.
The
So
landmine. Okay.
yeah, the landmine. So I know for myself personally, I've been not really including a lot of lateral movements when I'm doing my weight training, and I'm trying to incorporate that more,
Okay.
especially as I get older and just for my job, the athleticism I need
Yeah.
generally. So it's nice to have that. I'm able to utilize the barbell for all my main movements. I got my
Right.
accessory work right here.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things is the ability to do pull-ups. So
Oh
every
yeah.
year
Yeah.
we have to do
PFT.
PFT, the physical fitness test. We have to do max pull-ups.
Right.
Now it's a max plank instead of 115 crunches, and then we have to run 3 miles. So I can
Right.
at least train all portions actually of the PFT at home now, which is
Nice.
a big deal because I didn't have anywhere to do pull-ups unless I drove 20 minutes to the gym or stayed later after work and utilize the gym there. Overall, this is honestly a godsend that Major Fitness hooked me up with through you. I've been in the Marine Corps almost 10 years now,
Okay.
and throughout the time, I've utilized like the gyms there. But once I got married and have kids now, obviously I can't live in there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah. I know,
just the
right?
and then like I said, my wife is trying to get into weight training. So I mean,
Yeah.
it takes time to actually teach somebody the
Yeah.
proper technique and then work them from the barbell from the ground up. And I found myself in there for like 3 or 4 hours. I can't do that. I got 2 kids, and then one
Yeah.
of my kids is a newborn. So
Yeah. Yeah. Shout
um,
out to Joseph. All right.
shout out to Joseph. So
Uh,
yeah, it's got everything I need.
let's go to the safety spotter arms that are right there, the face savers. I just want to point out, this is kind of becoming standard, but these look really, really beefy. They've got UHMW across the top. I just like the design. So they're beefy, but because of the holes in the frame, it looks like a bridge, right? Looks
Yeah.
like a bridge that you would drive on, and so that structure is a little bit more is stronger without having to be as heavy. And because again, your wife Nicole is using this as well, so that's something that I don't think enough home gym owners think about. If it's a guy, you buy something and it's solid, but then it's uncomfortable for your wife to use. So I love that you put thought into designing a home gym that she could use, that all of you can use, because also, you know, your kids are gonna grow up wanting to, like you did. Your kids gonna grow up and they're gonna want to train in there with you. So it's got to be durable and safe for them to use as they get older. So the things that I think about with that, because I want to, nothing's perfect that's man-made. So I want to also talk about the pro. We've talked about some of the pros, but I also want to talk about some of the cons, the things that I notice, right? But I also want you to bring up anything that you've noticed in the terms of in the course of using this, or then Nicole has noticed that she's using it that might, have room for improvement. So first thing I noticed is the numbering isn't on every hole. Like, it's not like a deal breaker. I would say it's not as convenient because, just for example, say you're bench pressing, you know, your where your J hooks are gonna go for flat bench aren't gonna be in the same spot as where you incline bench.
Right.
And if I'm over there using it with you and we have to adjust, whatever, your arms are longer than mine. So we have to kind of it just helps if you have numbers. And then
Right.
again, if Nicole's bench pressing, well, her arms are definitely not as long as yours, and so it just helps for each of you to know like where to position the J cups for each of you to be able to use it. So that's something that I would say will be something to change. Um, is there anything that you've noticed that you say, you know what, I like this, or I like this, but it could be better, or you know what, this just needs to change flat out?
Yeah, this is kind of a personal preference. The mounted pull-up bar, just the way my body composition is made up, and the arm length that I have, it's a little bit too narrow for the way I do pull-ups. I generally do wider pull-ups, or that's how I train, because I
Gotcha.
have to train to do 23 in the Marine Corps, and unless I'm going to go all the way down to full extension with like um, the pull-up with my hands in a little bit closer. Um, I like to do it a little bit wider, shortens the distance. Um,
Yeah,
that'll be like a
100%.
personal nitpick for me. So I can show you. So typically,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go
typically
ahead.
I have my arms out about this distance when I'm doing the pull-ups. So when I'm doing it here, I'm able to get the repetition in, but I'm just doing pull-ups and not in the way that I typically would train. So
I
it
got
looks
you.
like this.
It's more arms and not enough lats. I got you. I got you.
But I do like the close grip to train my biceps and
Yeah, your biceps brachii. This can give you some thickness in the bicep. Yeah,
yeah, I really like that portion. But if I had to nitpick about it, it would just be like the width. If maybe they can make it a little bit wider,
yeah,
a little bit longer. But I'll say that, like you were saying, with the numbering on the rack, just because of
yeah,
the height difference for myself and Nicole, or my wife's name is Nicole.
yeah,
Or even if she wanted to train without me, since she's new, it's
yeah,
not as, I guess, user friendly to somebody who doesn't know what they're doing completely,
yeah,
in regards to that specifically.
yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean,
but
even over here at our house, we have obviously numbers on our power rack, and
yeah,
we actually have a chart. I literally wrote on the dry erase board
yep,
where the J hooks go for me, where the J hooks go for mom, for Naomi, as I know most people don't call her mom, for Naomi, and where the safety spotter bars go for me. And in fact, let's say something else. I set up my safety bars in a different spot for squatting than it goes for benching. Well, the rack numbers affect that as well. So
yeah.
there are a lot of different moving parts. That I just think that that's something that's important. So let's wrap up with what have you been doing? Like, what have you been primarily using the rack for? You mentioned training for the PFT, but I know that you also injured your foot, so
Yeah.
squatting's pretty much out the window. So what have you been pretty much using the rack for since you put it together?
Yeah, like you said, I fractured my ankle, so I'm currently wearing a boot. So primarily upper body, and then using the cables. So I do a lot of accessory work, shoulders, chest, triceps, biceps, core, everything that's above the waist.
Okay.
So um, it's nice because it allows me to focus on muscle imbalances and everything. But that's primarily what I've been using it for.
All right. Well, we're gonna make sure we come back and touch base with you periodically and continue to get feedback from you. I'm gonna figure. I've been figuring out a way to get you on the show to get you on the channel and get you on the show. But I know that time difference is murderous, so I'm
Yeah.
actually looking forward to the next time we come out there to visit you guys to actually using the rack myself. And so yeah. and I like being comfortable, so I'm gonna be sending a bunch of junk out there to your home gym. You be like, "What is this for?" Hey, put my stuff
Hey, I'm
down.
not gonna
Don't
say no to it.
you put my stuff down in the corner. Don't mess with that. I'll use it when I get there. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, man, I think it's I think it'll be really a really cool thing that you can grow that can grow with you, because what I wanted was to get you something that you wouldn't have to upgrade from, and that you'd be able to use, and then at some point you might want to pass it on. I
Yeah.
will say to everybody, in case people are wondering, it is 12 gauge steel, so um, it's a little bit more robust than the like the 14 gauge steel racks that Major Fitness first came out with. So this is 12 gauge steel, and so I would say it's ideal for somebody who's not going to be using it to like prepare for. Well, you might go back, you might decide to go to powerlift again, but at the current, and even if you decide to go back to powerlifting, I think you'd still be fine with a 12 gauge steel rack. So that yeah, that's pretty good. So I'll go ahead. I'll let you close if you have anything to add.
Yeah, I mean, again, thanks. To me, it's more than just like a power rack. Obviously, I remember growing up that the gym was always a safe space, regardless of I was wrestling or we were kickboxing or jujitsu, or whatever sports I was involved in. Like that was a safe space, and it introduced me into the culture of like being an athlete and just taking care of my health. I think it was a week ago. My daughter came in and I was doing like sit-ups or something. I was doing some sort of core workout after training on the power rack, and she got down and she started doing planks with me. Yeah, it was planks. I was doing planks. She wasn't doing the plank, but she was trying to do a plank. It's
Hey,
about
hey, that's all
else.
right.
And it sounds like wow, I'm creating for my daughter and then my son when he's old enough, the same space the same environment that I grew up in. Especially today, most kids are like in their phone or on a tablet or on the TV.
Yeah,
So I'm glad that I'm able to have something that is not going to stop now. It's like whenever she's my age, she'll still be working out. Maybe I'll still have this thing in the corner and hey, want to get a quick workout in, baby, and she's like, yeah, let's go. So,
nice.
and then it's also another way for my wife and I to spend time together. Um, I just got off of recruiting duty back in the fleet. I'm doing workups for a deployment, so a lot of the time I spend at work is reintegrating into the Marine Corps training wise. And sometimes I don't have that much time to spend with her until the weekend, of course. And like this is like a major way that we actually get to actually talk about our week and spend time together. We got a treadmill in the corner. She'll be on the treadmill and I'll, be pumping iron over here and we'll just have a conversation for about an hour or two. But
Nice.
that's pretty much it. I really appreciate it. Thank you again. Definitely would recommend from the package and everything was professional. They actually stole the cement. The whoever delivered it stole cement blocks off of my neighbor's basketball post to put put underneath the crate. So I do have to return that, but
Man,
uh,
borrowed. Yeah.
borrowed.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, technically, it all belongs to the Marine Corps, and you on base, so it hadn't been
very
stolen.
true. That's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
true.
It's just been
Um,
reallocated.
Yeah, so the next thing is basically breaking this down. But I mean everything was wrapped well. The weights were the rack was in good condition. I have no complaints about that. So I definitely would recommend for somebody else that's looking at getting one shipped to their home.
Awesome. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed. This is a little bit of a longer review, but I wanted you guys to get the full effect of or all of James's impressions about this. Plus, I enjoy hanging out, talking to my son, so the heir to the throne. And anyway, I hope this was helpful to you guys. If you have any other questions, please put them in the comments, and we'll try to answer them. If I don't know the answer, I'll ask James and get him to answer them. And if you guys want to check out more from Garage Gym Life, go ahead and check out the videos that are popping up on the screen right now. Once again, thank you, Major Fitness. Appreciate what you did for my son.